Thank you for tuning in to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP. And today's topic, the O.J Simpson Effect and the hypocrisy, right? The get over it seemingly does not apply to others. Yes. Yes. There was definitely and still is a type of O.J Simpson effect, right? And there's the hypocrisiness, right? And especially when you have personnel who know who they are from certain sections of within the predominant based culture. There are other ones, unfortunately, some sellouts and some gullible ones within certain parts of American Blackism. But again, that's such a minute amount of ones. There are certain type of ones from no Pacific background of immigration or immigrant type of scenarios and some other people, entities, etc., that want to be like certain people within certain parts of predominant based culture, right? So definitely there was the hypocrisy in this. Since how many times every day somewhere for decades and decades and decades and decades and decades, American blacks are told to get over the past. Nobody else is insulted like that. No one else collectively would accept that disgusting infantile tactic. It's like, how does that sound when you have a people who built this country off of free labor, basically? And then when there was a payment, especially black males, they were paid less the number of males within the predominant based culture. But at the same time, you have different topic. I don't want to go into all that. So I would just say this: under white feminist demonic mantra, right? They start talking about the idioticness of talking about, whoa, women don't get paid the same. And you like, what? Black males have never 9,000% been paid the same as certain numbers of predominantly based males in the society. What are they talking about? Numbers of white women have 99% have been paid more than black women. You see this game on that, but that's a whole different topic. So the point is, how does it sound when you got personnel in that demonic type of thought pattern that tell American blacks to get over the past, when, however, themselves, the ones it applies to, don't get over the past themselves? How does that sound?
I thought it was dumb. Maybe you're right.
Yeah, it's not funny, but it's so stupid. And the O.J Simpson thing showed so much of the hypocrisy as well. The hypocrisy to tell American blacks it's not about race, but they made O.J Simpson case about race. Now, for the personnel out there, here's the thing about it: there were certain numbers of nuances that was not brought up, right, in a logical analysis, because there's a good assumption, bad assumption, a combinational part of assumptions as well, realistic assumptions. But there was not correct assumptions for however numbers of personnel in relaying these over the ones it applies to, as far as in a certain way, meaning that you have people that seem to think that when this, for the people who don't know, there was a trial back in 1994 for O.J Simpson, which is supposed to be about him allegedly removing the life of his ex-wife and I guess one of their friends. Supposedly, right? That was back in 1994. A trial went to 1995 for the people who don't know. Because there are people who have recently came to the States. There are people in some other countries or islands, etc., that may not have even heard about O.J. Simpson. Whereas quite enough people have not heard about him. In 1994, there would have been Harvard numbers of millions and millions and millions and millions of people that would have been infants in 1994 when this happened. There would have been ones that were like kindergarten, right? Infants, junior high. I'm just giving an example. The whole point, they were young, and many of them don't even probably remember those kind of things. And then don't get it started. How many now border breaker illegal immigrant personnel? How many personnel of immigrating privilegedness by the multi-millions over years and years arrived to the States and still didn't have no clue about O.J. Simpson, right? And that really wasn't brought up too, to put things in perspective. So O.J. Simpson, for the ones who don't know, and for whatever timepiece purpose, because it's about timepiece purpose as well, O.J. Simpson was a major super athlete within American Black culture. He was a super athlete, was breaking college football records, big time, won Heisman Trophy, went to a well-respected college, played professional football, movies, commercials, etc. He was a super athlete. And however numbers of current athletes, they wish they were able to be on the scale of the athleticism, along with being inside the movies, along with being inside commercials. Oh my goodness, not even comparison. But the problem is, again, the hypocrisy. Like anything else. When it's an American Black male, as long as he plays proverbial ball, will have a part of society where they do not want any type of real thinking Black males. They certainly don't want any kind of type of richness. What is that supposed to mean? Because it's very minute amount of rich American Black males, which is done on purpose, right? And so the ones that are very well to do collectively, they know they better not bring anything up relating to trying to help American Black culture overall. I'm not talking about gullible ones and sellouts. I'm talking about there is such a gigantic need. There's all kind of ways to sit there and build different things within certain types of American Black areas and different things like that. Now, justification and other types of immigrant nations, immigrant nating, should I say, to the States, which is that's a whole different topic. I'm not talking about good ones, because that's good and bad. So, but we're not going to play this game as if you don't have certain type of immigrating personnel who sit there and just sit there and watching to buy their time to, oh, I know the game very well on that as well. Oh, I know it very well. So the point I'm getting at is that see OJ, he made that mistake and thought that he was above, like like a Bill Cosby thing, and even some people would say Michael Jordan thing. And the list goes on. Even like LeBron James thing. Not saying he wanted to buy some things, but when some personnel within predominant culture, woman, told him basically to relayed over that he just needed to shut up and dribble, right? When he was saying some kind of politicalness, right? Now, again, if that would have been a Black man that told a Caucasian woman, then they'd have been called him sexist and toxic masculinity. But when the Anglo woman said, oh, okay, yeah, that's just misquote. That's a whole different topic. So anytime, overall, or should I say overall, he made a mistake, O.J. Simpson, because he thought that he probably belonged more to various personnel within the predominant culture on that. And he didn't know he was being used. The sad part about it is that how many unfortunate numbers of American black women were also happy that he died. Yes, he said, well, why you say that? Oh, it's very easy. For the people who know about Kevin Samuels, people who don't, Kevin Samuels was a very articulate American black male, well dressed, relatable information about relationships. There are a lot of a lot of powerful relatable information, right? But within certain types of American black womanhood, they would get mad at him and saying he hates his mom, he hates black women who hurt him because he wouldn't bow down to this black millionistic followers of white feminism, right? And so they call all these different names, but they failed to realize, and many of them, some of them didn't know, some of them did know, and really want to say too much, that Kevin Samuels was talking toward black males before that. He was trying to get numbers of black males to see certain things. But then when the switch came over a little bit toward more black women that were calling more, then it's the whole thing switched over and it became, oh, he hates black women now because he won't bow down, even though he wasn't disrespectful at all. So when he passed on, you had numbers of American black women that were happy that he died. You're like, what? That's some sickness. O.J Simpson, same concept. How many numbers of black women were happy, the ones I'm talking about, that he passed? Why you say that? Because, oh, he was dealing with all the different type of women within the predominant culture. He hated his kind. Got you. It's like the thing with the Yu-Gi-Oh, old school Yu-Gi-Oh cartoon. When they would do that battle, for people who know, they know about the Yu-Gi-Oh cards. People don't know, Yu-Gi-Oh is an old school cartoon animation, still around in different versions. But they would do this little battle with these little game cards, these little cards and stuff like that. Anyway, people look it up, Yu-Gi-Oh, if they want to see that. But when Yu-Gi-Oh would be battling people, and then say one of these opponents, they would play a card, and they would bring out some kind of entity as on this battle. And so then when this entity would go toward his cards on the opposite side, sometimes you have these things called trap cards, and then it activates a trap card to deflect it or do something with the card or something. It's interesting strategy type situation. So I'm saying to you, it's like a trap card. So it's like the opponent is throwing nonsensical stuff out there. They think they're smart, and I'm sitting there saying trap card. So when certain types of American black women say, "Oh well, he didn't like black women," and that's what he gets and stuff like that. Trap card, because his first wife was an American black woman. Let's say this again. His first wife was an American black woman, and had a couple of different kids. See, that wasn't talked about. See, it was always consistently shown. Oh, he's with these women within the predominant culture, and rarely would it be shown. Wait a minute, his first wife was an American black woman, and that really wouldn't be shown or talked about because it was a narrative. Now, unfortunately, he messed up and made his soul rest. Now, by the way, he passed on prostate cancer, which I don't want to go into all that. At the same time, it's like prostate cancer is some of the leading causes. I'm talking about some of the leading causes of men death, especially black males. It's prostate cancer, and you guys still got people down getting through their skulls. This is a major thing that needs to be talked about more for black males. It's prostate cancer. So you're not going to minimize uh, breast cancer whatsoever, right? But something about that black male, the minimization of his health is demonic, right? I don't want to go on. That's a whole different topic. So he passes on, and obviously obviously people don't know they had all these little disgusting people that would come out the woodwork. They know who they are, and they will be bringing all these little negative things, stuff like this, and oh well, he got away with murder, right? He murdered his ex-wife and his one of their friends, stuff like that. See, they wouldn't say allegedly. It would be like he got away with that. You see where I'm coming from? It wasn't no allegedly. Isn't it interesting? when it's racial racism toward American blacks, almost like on a daily basis somewhere, it's not, oh, well, how can we prove racism? It's like these games are demonic. And unfortunately, numbers of millions within American blackism still haven't caught on to this tactic. And how many will be going to the voting booth in November, wherever it is, with no tangible demanding of reparations, demanding prior to that, should I say, of getting an anti black bill passed like they did for numbers of Asians. You see how that situation can go, right? Foreign aid going higher parts of the planet to other people. That's reparations helping people out. Reparations being given to border breaking illegal immigrant personnel helping them out. They're laughing, right? I know it's a different topic, but it's so disgusting, right? That this continuous insulting toward American blacks by the millions is just not, it's accepted. Now I want to go ahead and play a couple of videos about the O.J Simpson situation. Let me go ahead and play this first one because I'm not trying to make this a long particular broadcast today. Let me play this first video.
Realized he beat his wife 2 years earlier and said, hey, let me go kill her real quick before I catch this flight. So O.J. put on a sweatsuit because Kato Kalin said O.J. had on a sweatsuit. For no reason whatsoever, he just got up that night at 10 o'clock, realized he beat his wife 2 years earlier and said, hey, let me go kill her real quick before I catch this flight. So O.J. put on a sweatsuit because Kato Kalin said O.J. had on a sweatsuit. And according to the prosecutors, O.J. also had on some Bruno Magli shoes, which are some dress shoes that don't go with no damn sweatsuit. Then he put on a skull cap. For what reason, I don't know. Why would he put on a skull cap? Who is he trying to hide from? He's going to murder his wife, but he put on a skull cap. Was that supposed to be a damn disguise? So he put on a skull cap, sweatsuit, Bruno Magli shoes, and then some gloves that were too damn small. Then hopped in his Bronco with a knife, sped over there to the ex-wife's house, and then the dog saw him and started barking like crazy. But it's his damn dog. He's the one who bought the dog, so why is the dog barking at him crazy? Because neighbors said they heard the dog barking. O.J. bought the dog. That was O.J.'s dog, basically. So dog ain't gonna really go crazy for somebody the dog knows. Yeah? Oh yeah, somebody mentioned Glenn Rogers. Now Glenn Rogers was this white man who was doing work on Nicole's house some time earlier before the murders, and Glenn Rogers turned out to be a damn serial killer, and then he said he confessed. But they dismissed that too. Alright? This white man turned out to be a serial killer. But forget about all that. Alright, they said, hey, forget about all that. They said, we're going to put it on O.J. So again, O.J. goes over there in the Bronco, and in a 25-minute time span, O.J. jumps out, kills Nicole with a knife, slits up, throws damn near decapitates her, and then kills Ron Goldman, not knowing Ron was going to be there. Ron Goldman has defense wounds all on his knuckles where he was fighting for his life, and he's a martial artist. So he was fighting the hell out of somebody. So both of them are dead. O.J. leaves, gets rid of the bloody clothes, the knife and everything, and cleans himself up. Gets home just in time to finish packing and get in the limo and go to the airport on time. And he did this murder, changing his clothes and getting rid of the murder evidence, and turned back up at home like nothing happened in a 25-minute time span. You have to be super Negro to do that. All right? Family, what they don't tell you, there are other witnesses who said at around 10:30, because what they're saying, OJ's flight was at 11, so I think he was at the airport at 11. So they're saying that OJ left the house and committed the murders around 10:35, 10:40, something like that. Here's the problem. There were witnesses who were walking their dogs at night. They were walking the dog around 10:30, 10:35. They walked past Nicole's condo. They didn't see anything. Everything was cool. They don't tell you that. Family, there's another white woman that they don't tell you about. Let me put this on screen. We'll put some receipts on screen. There's another white woman. Hold on. Right here. Let me show y'all this. We're going to bring some receipts tonight. This white woman right here. Her name is Marianne Gershis. She was an eyewitness. She saw 4 men running away from Nicole's condominium where they were killed. But the police understood that her testimony would prove that the police actually planted evidence. That's why they don't want to find the real killer. If you find the real killer, that means the LAPD 100% planted the evidence. So they're never going to allow the real killer to come forward. Even a white man who confessed, they dismissed that. Because if somebody comes along and says, hey, I did it, I'm the real killer, that means that the LAPD 100% planted the evidence. So what they did with this woman, because she was going to testify and help OJ, LAPD started putting bogus charges on this woman. They started getting at her and prosecuting her for forged checks she wrote, and she wrote something on a document she didn't fill out an application. So they did all of these little humbug charges on this woman to discredit her so that she wouldn't be a good witness.
Mm, mm, mm. And this is what certain ones within the predominant culture will do, and some sellouts, unfortunately, within certain types of American blackism modern day, and some other entities who know they are after what was just relayed over, they still be doing this. I see nothing. I hear nothing. I know nothing. What are you talking about? You didn't. Did you not just hear what he just said? Well, not him personally. Oh, by the way. Oh, by the way, fair usage doctrine. I'm utilizing this as fair usage doctrine. But so back again, what you just heard. Many times this was not talked about on that, because again, certain ones within the predominant culture, certain ones within, unfortunately, certain sellouts within who don't know within certain parts of American blackism modern day, that don't even realize that they're being used like little silly puppets, right? I ain't talking about like the Muppets and stuff like that. Was it Jim Henson, whatever it is, who did the puppets things, whatever it was, and stuff like that? Not those kind of puppets, but symbolically puppets, right? Being used in this kind of way. But this is what people be doing. For a non-small numbers of people within the predominant culture, it is a natural thing. Not talking about some of the okay ones, right? Because that's a whole different topic. We're gonna pretend that there are ones who have never lost their lives or actually did fight for certain things for numbers of American blacks because they know that was the right thing to do. And the ones that lost their lives, may their souls rest. The ones who did it doing it legitimately, right? And not trying to do it for some kind of accolades. So, when they lost their lives, or ones that didn't do anything, but I won't go on all that. But collectively, that has not been the ever situation. ever. Right? Now, for this particular woman who was slot under the predominates culture racial category, because by her name, she wouldn't be a regular woman within the predominates culture. But even I read about her and what was just relayed on the video. Oh, yeah, not saying, hey, she didn't do what she did, whatever the heck it is, however it goes, right? But it's like, you really think that someone that looks like someone within the palm-based culture is going to actually lie for within at that level too for a black man? Oh, I don't think so. Right? But regardless, watch this for a second. I was sitting there reading about some other things here. Give me a second here because I'm trying to uh, not make this too long. Let me just read something. It talks about how the prosecution's meticulously plotted trail of blood is a false path forged by overzealous investigators who ignored witness accounts, that means plural, and overlooked blood that didn't fit their theory that O.J. Simpson was a murderer. His defense told jurists, wait, I guess almost 10 years ago in this situation, because the trial was 1995, I think it was something like that, 1995. Because unfortunately, the Murtaugh of O.J. Simpson's ex-wife and that particular friend was in 1994. And which is another thing, that's almost 30 years ago. Actually, 1994, this is 2024, that's 30 years ago. That is a generation, a slight bit more than a generation ago. A generation meaning overall 25 years. And from 1995 from the trial to now 2024, you still got personnel right before he passed, the ones who know who they are, that wouldn't let it go. Oh, yes, yes. They're ones who did not want to let it go. Right? Oh, they want to let it go. How many times have you heard? Well, and for the ones who may not know, there have been so many documentaries, videos, articles, uh, some demonic clan member type thought pattern, various parts of the main media person who know they are, how many books have been talked about this, right? And you like, and I'm not talking about from a, okay, present information from different kind of size, none of that little size switchery stuff, none of that little negating information, witnesses. Oh, none of that stuff. Oh no, collectively, that stuff wasn't presented like that. See that narrative, black male, super successful, him sitting there, got a little too comfortable, get with numbers of women within the predominant culture. If OJ was sitting there dating various women, which we don't even know that he was not, because his first wife was a black woman, American black woman that had a couple of different children. But again, that's not talked about. It's the ex-wife, right? That has that type of look about her, right? For within a certain look within a predominant culture, and how many males to this day, for within certain parts of predominant culture, cannot stand that an American black male would even dare talk with, intermarry, date a woman within the predominant culture. But at the same time, oh, it's okay for how many of them to date numbers of black women. It's okay for them to date different other women themselves. You see how that goes? For numbers of American black women, the ones who do date, intermarry, and stuff like that. How many of them, how many of them have I'm talking to ones it applies to, they have a hatred for American black males, but then and talk down upon them, but the ones who do this. But you don't hear black males jumping up and down about when numbers of American black women that do date numbers of males within the predominant culture or some other cultures, you don't hear numbers of American black males jumping up and down about that. Just like you don't hear numbers of black women talking about the hypocrisy, their hypocrisy, the ones I'm talking about, of the sisterhood of chaos, that they get quiet when if someone brings up, which is not enough people bring it up. How y'all gonna get mad at numbers of black males that intermarry or date outside of their race? So what? That's their damn choice, right? Like women, people, numbers of women, numbers of black women, their body, their choice. They can date who they want. They can have socks with, sex with who they want to be with, what they want to be with, and stuff like that. It's their body, their choice. But some damn reason, but I guess that don't apply to American black males, is, oh, why that American black man or black men dating outside their race? Go to hell with that game. It's an hypocrisy. But the point is that it is a demonic thing that American blacks, I'm not talking about the sellouts or the gullible ones, the ones in denial mode either. It is a sickness that is going on within certain sections, within certain parts of the predominant culture, the one this applies to, and some other entities who are attachers, who may have the face of black, who know they are, but they just kind of ride the coattails of looking what black folks do. Oh, they know who they are. You got ones that play the people of color nonsensical tactic and minority switchery tactics. Unfortunately, millions of American blacks don't see that game still don't get it. So it's interesting that American blacks are told to forget about the past. An O.J Simpson trial has been almost 30 years ago. Almost 30 years ago. This is April the 15th, 2024. I'm doing this broadcast. So almost 30 years ago. It would be 30 years ago, 1994. The trial is 1995. So whole point, still 30 years ago, a generation ago. And you still got certain ones within certain parts of Padang-based culture and are ones that have a look for certain ones within the Padang-based culture, but they're not. They know who they are. And some other people who have their little interest in trying to do little switchery tactics, who know they are. The point is, 30 years ago, and you got people still talking about OJ, how he got away with it, how he did this, how he married his ex-wife and their friend. Not allegedly, right? Isn't it interesting? It's not allegedly then. And you got how many of the personnel are not getting over the past. But American black folks are supposed to get over the past. Hypocrisy. So one last particular video on this.
These people were driving all over LA with OJ's blood. My man, right? And one person is fighting for their life.
By the way, again, fair usage doctrine.
Again, this is OJ right here. They took pictures of his body, his face. This is what OJ's body looked like. This is not the body of somebody who brutally killed two people and one person is fighting for their life.
Very true.
That's not the body of a person who just killed two people.
And you got people pretend they didn't see this part, the ones who saw it.
So the white media is not going to tell you all this stuff. See,
that's right.
Grassroots media is very important. That's why we're very important over here with what we do, to bring you all sides of it so that you can see the truth for yourself. And my brother OJ got Johnny Cochran. Johnny Cochran was not a joke. Now OJ, he voluntarily gave blood samples. So when he gave these blood samples, instead of putting the blood samples in the lab, Mark Furman and these people, all of these cops are driving around with the blood in their trunk of a car. Family, and anybody who works in medical, where are my people who work in medical? Family, do you know how much of a damn no-no that is? Family, if you get somebody's blood, you take that up and you put it in a lab immediately. These people were, Mark Furman had it in his car. Then I think Tom Lang, another cop, had it in his car. Then they drove it out to Simi Valley where one of the cops lived. So the blood was traveling all over the place. These people were driving all over LA with OJ's blood. My medical people, y'all know good and well that's a damn no-no. You don't do that nowhere. You don't do that nowhere. You got to put that in the lab ASAP. In fact, you're supposed to get it done in the lab and it doesn't leave the lab. Blood has to be stored immediately. Now, this was beyond reasonable doubt. Of course it was reasonable doubt. Don't let people shame you. Man, that man shouldn't have never been charged. They were driving around with O.J.'s blood, and then here's the kicker. For those who remember the case, some of the blood in the vial ended up missing. They wrote down a certain percentage of blood that they got, and then when they saw the vial, some of that blood was missing. And then it just magically turned up on little clothes here and there when they went to investigate O.J.'s house. Now little blood drops are just popping up like, oh, look at this, blood on a sock. Oh my God. You know? So the blood that they got, some of it was missing. They don't tell you all of that. And then they were doing the blood samples of O.J.'s blood that they quote unquote found in all of these places. And they found out that the blood had EDTA in it, which means that it came from a vial. That means that it came from somewhere that it was stored. Your body don't have no damn EDTA in it like that. So when they did samples of O.J.'s blood that they found on all these different places, they're like, oh, this blood has EDTA in it. It has a chemical in it that you only get when you store blood somewhere. The blood was tainted. Johnny and those guys had all types of experts showing this stuff and just smashing their narrative. The blood was planted. And family, the kicker is when they got when they got Mark Furman on the stand and asked him, because they found out he was using the N-word and talking about setting black folks up and doing all this stuff, they got him on the stand and asked him if he planted evidence. Don't ever let them forget what he said. Hold on. This is what Mark Furman, the white supremacist, when he got on stand, they asked him, did he plant evidence? This is what he said. Hold on. This was a damn yes or no question.
I only have one other question.
What was that, sir?
Detective Furman, did you plant or manufacture any evidence in this case?
I certainly have that privilege.
One more time.
What was that, sir?
Detective Furman, did you plant or manufacture any evidence in this case?
I certainly have that privilege.
I only have one other question.
Oh. Man. So they like to act like Mark Furman didn't exist. They try to sweep Mark Furman under the rug. Case closed right there. That sealed it up right there. That's a yes or no damn question. Man, did you plant this evidence? I plead the fifth. Not damn guilty then. Where are the Sambos in here talking about, O.J. did it? Where are you Sambos at? Don't know what the hell you talking about. Well, we've been studying this case for 30 years. Well, we know, we've been around this case. We know the deal with this. We know the deal with this case. And let me shout out to Judge Joe Brown. He was talking to Jesse Lee Peterson, and Judge Joe Brown was talking about the case too. Let me play a clip of Judge Joe Brown talking about it. Judge Joe Brown was bringing some more receipts about this case. Well, where's that Judge? Here we go. Judge Joe Brown was chopping it up with Jesse Lee Peterson. But look, this is Judge Joe Brown breaking down some more game about this case. Judge Joe Brown was around at that time. Here we go.
No, did O.J. Simpson get away with murder? No, I looked at all the evidence. They hadn't talked to the experts. They never should have brought the charge against him. And 4 of the chief detectives that were involved in that O.J. case wound up doing time in California for planting evidence. And as a matter of fact, if you saw the entire trial, there are several instances where evidence was planted and it's recorded on tape. The main reason the American public man I know personally. His name is Richard Sucklewar. He took a tracing of everybody's hand. It was a size large glove that fit Furman. And O.J. had a 2XL, which was way too big. Donnie Cochran knew that. So if it does not fit, you must be quit. And you can see Furman actually plant the bloody socks on a video that the
Mm, 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 mm. But you'll have some personnel within certain sections of the predominant-based culture and some other entities, and unfortunately, a few sellouts and gullible ones within certain sections of American modern day American Black culture, and some fence riders and some Chuck come latelys and some Suzette come latelys and some Chuck Moon come latelys and some Kani come latelys and et cetera, et cetera. And border break and legal immigrant personnel that can care less regardless. So again, it's something about an American Black male. It has to be hated. Even though there was not a or that didn't come across as O.J. Simpson would have had gigantic malice to people. Now, what this system has done, especially, see, this is a whole different topic. I don't want to go into much of that, but white feminism is very deadly. It's very deadly. And unfortunately, there are certain males within predominant culture that got a major mental sickness problem as well that they don't even see. Quite a number of them, the deadliness of white feminism against them. Well, that's a whole different topic. But in this situation, again, this is timepiece purposes as well, because again, this will be brought up in some time in some near future or wherever heck it is. I will not be surprised around the 30th anniversaryness of the trial of O.J. Simpson. I would not be surprised if there will be more articles, more types of main media-ness, or however people that will bring it up on around the day or two or week before or the day or two afterwards to mark the 30th anniversary of the day or plus or minus the day of the actual murdering date of the O.J. Simpson's ex-wife and her friend. I would not be surprised. And are especially even next year on that. Since the 1995 would be the trial. So within that month, around that day or two before, or the day or two afterwards, a week before, a week afterwards, you get the point. I won't be surprised at that. That there will be some type of news coverage, main media news coverage, or various type of articles, etc., about this. Because people within various parts of predominant culture and some other personnel, they do not want to let this rest, but they'll tell American Blacks collectively to get over the past. You see how that demonic thing work. Now, in that second video I just played, trying to block a few times on that, on his knowledge. And when you heard him say how the murdering happened, that didn't even seem like that was something an O.J. Simpson would do. That's like, that was almost like a hit. And even though, again, you had the evidence and showing, like I just read, I'm sorry, a little bit earlier, about the prosecution meticulously plotted trail of blood is a false path forward by overzealous investigators who ignored witness accounts and overlooked blood that didn't fit their theory that O.J. Simpson was a murderer, his defense told jurors almost 10 years ago. Also, they talked about how blood scraped from under Nicole Brown Simpson's fingernails didn't match her ex-husband's. And there is no blood where there should be blood. If Simpson were guilty, said the attorney at the time, Johnny Cochran Jr., there were trails that led toward innocence and they were not pursued, Cochran said while revealing the defense case for the first time. And the greatness of Johnny Cochran Jr., may his soul rest, that was a bad, bad American black male. He was tough. And the system says, oh, no, 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 we will make sure 9,000% you will not, Negroes, have any type of legalness close to that level. Now, a couple of here and there a little bit that's doing anything, that's acceptable. But you will not, we will not allow in that same stratosphere of Johnny Cochran's Jr.'s to ever come in existence ever again. He was defeating numbers of personnel within Panama's culture and other people left and right, making people look like fools. An American black man, he was tough. And so when he was making people look silly left and right, and when he had O.J. Simpson put that glove on and it did not fit, it was like, if it didn't fit, basically you must have quit. And he was acquitted, O.J. Simpson. But we know what? That should have been the end of it, right? But nope. Almost 30 years ago, 1995, when the trial happened, it's almost 30 years ago. You got people that still don't want to accept that O.J. Simpson was found not guilty. Isn't it interesting? But if it's American blacks, right, get over the past. Some sickness in certain people within certain parts of Panama's culture. There are some messed up, gullible, and some denial mode people within certain parts of American blackism. There are some little sneaky little personnel that hide behind the black and brown coalition. They know who they are. So ones that are sneaky and play little games within the yellow and black coalition, right? No such thing, right? People slide under the people of color banner, right? And minority switcher tactic, right? Whole different tactic. You see, Georgia Brown was talking some reality, right? The information was rarely ever talked about. And the prior videos, with Tariq Nasheed was relaying over, a lot of that stuff hasn't been talked about. So, however the person believes, the people believe what he did or not the issue. He was acquitted. So how is it that people just don't get over it? You said it goes, right? Just get over it. It's done with. And even, let me go back to that video where, let me read some more right quick of what I was reading about. Give me a second here. It was talked about how there was stacking up evidence of reasonable doubt. Cochran told of two women who approached the defense team at the police and prosecutors refused their information. They also talking about, there was also shown a color close-up of Goldman's. That was one of the people that got murdered. Goldman swollen. Close-up of Goldman swollen, bruised, and bloodied knuckles. Then a series of photos taken of Simpson, which I showed earlier, clad only in underwear, taken just days after the murders, Cochran noted they showed no bruises or scratches on his bare skins. Although, if he had all that kind of stuff, that's not healing up in a few days. But it's like you got people that are like, oh, I see nothing, I hear nothing, I know nothing. That kind of stuff just happens to black males, right? Not in this situation, but I'm talking about how, well, I mean, this situation relating to what's right in front. It's like we say, so it's like when certain black males say racism happened to them. Oh, it's hard to prove it. You saw that go. Wow. Now, with that being said, the Mark Fuhrman, what some people call racial racist, terrorist, Ku Klux Klan, whatever other people, whatever demonic wording that some people will call him, he was supposed to be the lead investigator on that, on this O.J. Simpson Mata trial, right? 1995. And you hear already what we just played, right? All kind of questionable situations. And it was brought up. You know what? Let me play this video one more time. Because again, this is timepiece purposes, right? Because then slowing down the road. Because again, this system knows that people got a lot of short-term memories, right? They know that a lot of people got a lot of short-term memories. And I'm not talking about health-wise. So let me go back to that video. Yeah, here it is. Let me go back and play this again. By the Mark Fuhrman.
Talking about setting black folks up and doing all this stuff. They got him on the stand and asked him if he planted evidence. Don't ever let them forget what he said. Hold on. This is what Mark Fuhrman, the white supremacist, when he got on stand. He asked him, did he plant evidence? This is what he said. Hold on. This was a damn yes or no question.
Now I have one other question.
What was that, Mr.
Detective Fuhrman, did you plant or manufacture any evidence in this case?
I assert my Fifth Amendment privilege.
Whoa. I see nothing. I hear nothing. I know nothing. Let me play that one last time.
Now I have one other question.
I assert my Fifth Amendment privilege.
This case.
I assert my Fifth Amendment privilege.
I've been talking about this case for years.
Sorry.
Did he plant evidence? This is what he said. Hold on. This was a damn yes or no question.
Now I have one other question.
What was that, Mr.
Detective Fuhrman, did you plant or manufacture any evidence in this case?
I assert my Fifth Amendment privilege.
Now I have
One more time.
What was that, Mr.
Detective Fuhrman, did you plant or manufacture any evidence in this case?
I assert my Fifth Amendment privilege.
Now I have one other question.
He sit there and said he basically invokes his Fifth Amendment privilege, the right to remain silent. Isn't it interesting how when certain numbers of citizens, etc., invoke their Fifth Amendment rights, say, at certain stops and etc., you'll have certain people within certain type of enforcement, the ones who this applies to, don't like that. You see how that goes, right? Oh yeah, there's some questionable kind of bad seeds in various parts of enforcement, which then makes not necessarily not so bad seeds not really look too good, right? Because the system needs numbers of bad seeds planted inside of various parts of enforcement. They need it. Now, by the way, about the planning part, how it was relayed that, hey, there's a super possibility that this guy, whoever else, planted evidence. And you see already what this Mark Furman, he was asked a very straightforward question.
I assert my Fifth Amendment privilege.
One more time.
What was that, Mr. Chairman?
Detective Furman, did you plant or manufacture any evidence in this case?
I assert my Fifth Amendment privilege.
If he did not plant or anybody did not plant evidence, then why should he just not say, I have not, or he'd have not done that? You think about that. What's that old saying that is talked to American blacks and stuff like that? You know, if they get stopped, by certain ones, I'm talking about the ones it applies to. Can we search a car? Why? Or asking questions. Well, I mean, you can talk to us. Yeah, talk to us. I mean, if you ain't got anything to hide, why can't we search your car? You just cooperate. If you ain't got anything to hide, you got some foods in certain parts of Paname's culture. Well, black folks don't break the law, but when they do things wrong, then they get reminded in their own way by the ones within certain part of Paname's culture that they don't care, right? It's like, okay, you might be the same color as me, but I don't care about that. So when some of them get reminded by certain people within their cultures, or people that can hide within a certain type of color of culture, then they get mad themselves and, oh my goodness, we need to do something about the bad cheese. And it's funny how that works. But you see how what you heard Mark Furman did not want to answer the question, who was the LAPD lead investigator in O.J. Simpson trial, how he did not want to say no, that he had nothing to do with any kind of planning, evidence, or anything. Nothing. You see, he didn't say, oh, no, not at all. He said he invoked his Fifth Amendment. His Fifth Amendment right. By the way, I'm about to close up. Relating to Mark, some people would say Super Ku Klux Klan Furman. It's interesting how these people are allowed to just go about their business. It's like almost like a Zimmerman, right? Like the Trayvon Martin situation, right? Trayvon, right? How Zimmerman just basically got away. And then the system, a little few people here and there get called and et cetera, but collectively, this system is like, nope. So it's fun. It's unfunny how Rodney King got beat down by numbers of officers in those areas up in LA. Got beat the hell down. Rodney King in 1990s got beat the hell down. And you still had people that got acquitted. You see how that go? But you don't hear people within certain parts of Paname's culture saying, oh man, that wasn't justice. Collectively, that wasn't justice. Oh man, they should have been brought to justice, man. They should not have been acquitted at all. Nope. They tell black folks nothing to see. Hey man, just get over it. Right? You see how it goes? When racial racism terrorist happens to American blacks over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, every day somewhere else, somebody is getting reminded within American black culture, they're told to get over the past. Nothing to see here. And unfortunately, there are some super sellouts within certain parts of modern day American black culture, modern day. And unfortunately, there are some little chameleons within certain people, within people of color gangs and minority gangs. And again, don't get me started on border breaking illegal immigrant personnel who know they are. And you got certain ones within certain type of foreignness, of immigrationness, who know they are. They sit back and they're almost right around about the amount of the whole total. In other instances, they are more than the actual American black culture. And you got numbers of American blacks don't even realize what's going to happen. Because those other ones, they're not saying too much at all unless it's about their people. So I just want to do a show on this. Oh, I'm sorry. The the Furman part. They talk about how on Furman, the trial began on January 24th, 1995. Let me say that again. The trial began on January 24th, 1995. And Furman took the witness stand for the prosecution on March 9th. During cross-examination on March the 15th, attorney F. Lee Bailey asked Furman whether he had used the N-word in the previous 10 years, in which Furman replied that he had not. The defense tried to introduce witnesses and audio tape evidence to prove that Furman had lied under oath. Mm, mm, mm. Mm. And that he had a particular animus against interracial couples. What they mean black and white, but specifically, especially black men and numbers of women within the Polymath culture is what that meant in general. That he had a history of perpetrating violence against African Americans, and that he had a history of being willing to fabricate evidence or testimony. In accordance with the California Evidence Code, the prosecution sought to exclude this evidence by arguing that the prosecution sought to exclude this evidence by arguing that it was too inflammatory and could prejudice the predominantly black jury, although they conceded that Furman used racist epithets on the tape. Mm, mm, mm. The prosecution suggested that the remainder of the material was merely exaggerated puffing and blowing. Do you see how that goes? You see the disgusting tactic of that. Oh, it's a primarily black jury, but when it's a predominantly white jury, you don't hear numbers of one within the predominant culture saying, "Oh, that's not a jury of that particular black man or black woman that's trying to defend themselves." You notice they don't do that. But you see in this situation, oh, it's a predominantly black jury, so we can't show let people be known the evidence to show racial racism, terrorism coming out of Mark Furman's mouth, left and right. That has been relayed over that's what he's done. You see how that goes? How's that justice? On August 31st, Judge Lance Ito, who's the judge of the trial, ruled that evidence could be introduced to prove that Furman had lied about the use of the N-word, but that claims of violence and police misconduct were inadmissible. Isn't that interesting? On September the 5th, the defense produced multiple witnesses and audio tapes to establish that Furman had used the N-word within the last 10 years. The tape eventually resulted in perjury charge against Furman, to which he pleaded no contest. Mm, mm, mm. And I think this guy was also, they said this guy was a United States Marine. They said he was. And that he expressed animus against interracial couples and said if he had his way, all the N-words will be gathered together and burned. When have you heard people talk like that to other people on the same level as American blacks like that? Right? And they said this next witness, Natalie Singer, whose roommate had dated Furman around 1987, testified that Furman had told her The only good N-word is a dead N-word. Man, that's some old 60s type conversation talk. Wow. On the television show Lisa, Singer later said that Furman also had said, "Yay, yeah, we work with N-words and gangs. You can take one of those N-words, drag them to the alley, and beat the out of them and kick them. You can see them twitch. It really relieves your attention." Mm, 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 mm. Wow. 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 One last thing I'm going to show is that it said, although there was no evidence to suggest that Furman had planted the glove, the bloody glove, uh, his perjury about the use of the N word, was widely seen as severely damaging the prosecution's credibility in front of the mostly black jury, especially in the wake of Rodney King trial. Which Rodney King again was beat down by a number of LAPD officers, and he was unarmed. And you got the nerve of some numbers of personnel that are again Chuck come latelys and Suzette come latelys and come latelys and Kachitin come latelys and Supu come latelys and Kabu come latelys, right? And border breaking illegal immigrant personnel who know they are, and it's the ones that slot under people of color banner and a minority banner. You know who they are. No other personnel has ever been treated like this on such a collective scale. And the number one people, according to the hate crimes statistics, it's not white, which that's not even fix my mouth to even say that. It's not even white. Don't even lead who has the most hate crimes put upon them. It's not Asians. Don't even work fix my mouth saying that stuff. Right? Which even though they got a collective anti-Asian bill. It's not Hispanics, whatever that's supposed to mean. Because like Asians, you got Afro-Asian personnel, but people don't talk about that. You got Afro-Hispanic personnel, but obviously people don't want to talk about that either. So it wasn't Hispanics who had the most hate upon them. It wasn't no personnel that against certain type of religional situations, which a poster board is Judaism, right? If people gonna act like that there's no other people that practice Judaism faith, but at the same time, it is shown as if a certain people, personnel who know who they are, have the reins of who can be shown practicing Judaism faith. And if a person don't like it, they used to be called anti-Semitic. You see how that goes? Because one of the people with the OJ trial situation, the one that won the guy's life that was lost, I guess it was said that he was of the Judaism faith. So he was a Jewish person per se. And it's relayed that that's why this was continuously 30-something years later still, that it has not ever been let go. Because it's like, how dare you did that to a certain type of Jewish person? How dare you, added to it, you do this towards some innocent, sweetness type of woman like his ex-wife, right? But then you start hearing stories about they weren't no sweet people like that, right? So questionable situations, but that's a whole different topic. So it's interesting how this situation, the hypocrisy and the demonic numbers of personnel who will not get over the past, but at the same time relating to O.J Simpson situation, but at the same time tell numbers of American blacks to get over the past. Again, I'm not talking about the sellouts, some sellouts and some gullible ones and things like that. They can go somewhere, right? But it's just interesting how, again, the hypocrisy that American Black is supposed to get over the past. But none of the other people who know they are won't get over the past. I thank you for tuning in to the Real CP show.